Hey everyone, it's Rye. Haven't done one of these in quite some time, actually. Gotta get back on that. Originally set out with the intention of trying to do one of these every single day, and how many of us have endeavored to do something like that and then failed, whether it's vlogs, audio logs, diets, exercise, the list goes on and on and on. But I'm kind of stalling here. I've actually got something that fits within the spectrum of what this series was meant to do to begin with, which is to discuss ideas associated and related with gaming, not just in the very literal sense of playing and experiencing and enjoying video games, but ideas surrounding them as well. And this is one that I've been working on over the last couple of months, and we'll get right into it. To further what I'm trying to do in terms of Let's Plays, obviously, you need to play games to create Let's Play videos. And one of the ways that I've been doing that, as you may have noticed, is a couple of them have been free-to-play games. Why? Because they're free. They're very enjoyable, and not to say that by playing them I'm like giving them some sort of extra platform to be exposed to the world. I mean, maybe, but that's not my intention. It's, okay, here's something that I can jump in on and enjoy without having to put out a huge amount of money from my own personal pocketbook. That being said, the ones that I have played so far are ones I would gladly have put money down for, and a couple of ones that I've picked up recently have either been on sale or been sold for about, I'd say, somewhere in the market of between, say, 50 cents and $3. And they've been great. Absolutely worthwhile experiences. Even the free ones I would have gladly paid for if they'd been on sale for the same kind of price, because they were really good experiences. Like Mandagon was one that I played not too long ago. It was very short, but it was sweet. It was a very different kind of platforming experience of what I'm used to, both in terms of the story and the actual content of the game. And I mean, if that was up for 25 cents, absolutely I felt like that was worth it. Beautiful little game. But apart from all that, the other thing that I've been doing is, I'm sure like many of you out there, you've probably got a lot of games that are just sitting around. And I don't mean in a digital sense. We'll get to that, like in your Steam library or whatever sort of online gaming subscription service you're attached to. Would it be right to call it a subscription service? But you know what I mean, like Steam, like Origin, like Xbox Live, PSN, whatever Nintendo's is called. That one I'm not familiar with. But you see what I'm talking about. Aside from those, you have, more than likely, a huge library of physical games. And I love my physical games, don't get me wrong. When I first kicked things off at the ripe old age of, I think the first game I ever played, I talked about it in this series way back when. I can't recall. Probably 4 or 5. I might be contradicting myself here. Memory being what it is. Anyway, point being, physical games are what I grew up with, so I've got an affinity for them in more than one way. Nostalgia and just the enjoyment of having something you can actually hold on to. But over the last year or so, I've come to realize that for a lot of them, although I've played them and enjoyed them, I don't use them anymore. They're just kind of sitting there, collecting dust or taking up space. And for some of them, there is a very fond memory attached to them. But I took a serious hard look, both at what, in terms of what I value and what the games gave to me in terms of value and memories and enjoyment. And for quite a few of them, even though they were fantastic games, I realized it's very likely I'm never going to play them again. That I've gotten the experience and the enjoyment out of them, and that's as far as it's going to go. They've run their course. They've run the course of their life for me. And then I was faced with an interesting decision where, okay, am I going to kind of treat this like a physical library and keep all of these things up there as a display of just like, this is what I got? I guess like you could look at that either as a display of, here are the games I've played, or I guess in a way sort of just like a display of, well, like, look at all of these games that I own. Pretty impressive, huh? Check out my gaming dick kind of thing. But, you know, like without any sort of venom attached to it. But it forced me to evaluate that concept, and I came to the conclusion that for the ones that I don't use anymore, for the ones that I'm not going to play anymore, I really should do something about them, because more and more, both in terms of video games and my own personal life, I'm really trying to cut down on things that I don't use. And I'm sure we can all agree, like, in our lives, we got a lot of stuff. Not even important things, but just stuff. And to scale it back and simplify everything, personally, I found really adds to not only valuing what you do have, but also a happiness in that you don't have all this extra crap lying around. And I don't know, what would that be? Would that be minimalism? I think that might be what it's called. Not quite to that extreme yet, but I don't know. Maybe I'll get on this kick and I'll have, just a desk, a computer, and a digital library of video games, which could be pretty awesome in and of itself. But anyway, with the games that I'm not using anymore, that's what I've been doing. I've been selling them online and on eBay or trading them in and just putting what I've earned from that away. And it's not like a huge amount of money, but it's something that to me feels worthwhile because you are, I'm trying to think of a good way to put this. You're exchanging them for money you could put towards literally anything else. Now, I suppose there's an argument to be made that if you know for a fact that you're just going to be using what you get from doing something like this for video games, you could take it into a video game store, somewhere like Electronic Boutique, Microplay, and there are still a few of those around, or like some mom and pop trade-in shop, and either get store credit or perhaps cash if they're one of those places, and then put it towards another game purchase. And to an extent, that's what I'm doing. But using an online service like PayPal, which is connected with eBay. I meant to say eBay first. The money's sitting there and I'm holding on to it because I'm thinking, okay, I could use this to purchase video games, a new video game, a different video game, something to do a Let's Play of, or I could use it to, for example, what I'm intending to right now with what I've earned, get a better piece of recording software to make recording Let's Plays a lot more easier, more streamlined, so that I can produce them at a better quality and a better rate. But at the same time, you could also use it for, say, if you wanted to do Let's Plays with like video capture of your face, which could be something down the line, a better microphone, better recording software for audio. Maybe you want to do vlogging, vlogging. I just called it that. Anyway, you see what I mean. You can use it for so many other things. And whether or not the person you're selling it to is going to be using it for whatever purpose, in my mind, what I like to believe, what I choose to believe, is that at some point, the game that I'm letting go, that I'm exchanging for currency now, is eventually going to find its way into the home of somebody who's going to appreciate it the same way that I did. And that the enjoyment and the memories and the fondness that I have for however brief or long the time was with that piece of entertainment is then going to go on to somebody else. They're going to get the same kind of thing out of it. Maybe they'll get something more. You never know, because you know what? Everybody takes something different away from any experience, no matter what it is. So that's my hope, that when it goes out there into the world, somebody else eventually is going to get their hands on it, and it is going to be the best thing for them, or it's going to add something positive. Would altruistic be the right word? A little hippy dippy, I guess, but that's the kind of mentality I'm going in with. And then again, like I said, with however large or small an amount I get from selling it that way, I can put it towards something else. And I would say certainly if you're looking at, even just for your own personal entertainment, not saying it has to be anything related to like YouTube or anything content-wise. If you're just looking to sell them so that you have a little bit of extra to get a brand new game for your own enjoyment, I think that's an awesome idea too, because, I mean, again, you've got a bunch of games sitting there that maybe you're not going to play again. You can exchange them for a little bit, and maybe when all's said and done, you've only gotten an extra $20. But consider this. When current games are costing upwards of $80, cutting some of the fat off of that price to the tune of even $20, that's awesome. And it doesn't feel wasteful. You know, it's not just like, okay, I'm adding more collection and weight to whatever limited space I might have. You're exchanging I'm trying to figure out how to word this properly here. You are trading volume for more space and something that's meaningful. And again, given enough time, that game may eventually reach that stage in its product life where you've played it to the point that you are not going to play it again. And then you can just repeat the cycle, and maybe suddenly that game will turn into the money you use to get another brand new fantastic experience, which may not necessarily be a video game. Maybe it's a trip. Maybe it's a piece of camping gear so you can go interior backpacking. Maybe it's put towards a vacation where you go somewhere exotic or just different to experience something new, something interesting, something that adds a brand new dimension or idea to you, to your life, to your experience in this world. And I think that is a very interesting idea. Maybe it's getting a little bit too philosophical and deep, but that was something that I wanted to share, that I think it's a worthwhile idea to consider. And you could be one of those people for whom not only playing the game is part of it, but collecting too. And I totally understand that. I know someone whose goal is to play every single video game in existence. I don't know how realistic that is, just because there are so many. Now, I suppose, to be fair, he did say he wants to play every single game in existence. He never said beat them. So by that definition, I guess you could technically turn on the start, hit the start button, turn on the game, get to the menu screen, and play it for maybe 20 seconds. Boom, you're done. You have technically played the game. But I took it to mean that maybe he wants to play through each one, and as far as I know, unless, maybe I should suggest this to him, unless you're doing it in a YouTube channel, and that's all you're doing, I don't even know if that's physically possible. There's just so many different games. There's ones dating back years and years and years, and you'd have to track every single one down. And then think about this. Even if you were beating a bunch in a day, there are so many being produced, not just in terms of ones you can buy on store shelves, but independent games, free online games. Now that I think about it, even crappy little free ones on your computer like Solitaire would fall into that bracket. There's too many. There's way too many. I mean, it's a goal that you'll be chasing for the rest of your life. So in terms of long-term ones, I guess that's a good one to have. It's something that is, I want to say, unattainable. But anyway, that's kind of aside from the point. And to end off on this note, so this doesn't run too long in the tooth, because we're already coming up on 12 here. Oh, past 12. The idea of digital content, it was something that I was kind of against for a long time, but at least in terms of saving space and keeping everything sort of neat and tidy, that's where I kind of side more with digital. In that sense that you can keep it all very collected, neat and clean and tidy, and it's not like this massive 200-pound library sitting upon stacks and stacks of shelves and occupying its own individual room in your house or apartment or whatever. It's something that you could literally look at on your phone and fits in the palm of your hand. It's kind of neat. It's kind of cool. You can literally carry 1,000 games around in your pocket, and no one would be any the wiser. Try carrying 1,000 games around physically, and people are going to take notice and kind of be like, wow, that guy's either super strong or is going to have wicked back problems later in life. Perhaps both, maybe neither. But at the same time, there's still something to be said for the physical games. And the ones that I do hold on to are ones that I am going to play again, or ones that mean so much to me that I could never really see myself letting go of them just so I could have space for more or trade them in to get a different game. And those would be ones that had very deep, meaningful impacts to me. Games like, say, Shadow of the Colossus, or The Last of Us, or Red Dead Redemption, or the Dead Space series. Those first three games, I know you're thinking oh yeah, no, I can totally understand why you wouldn't want to let those go. And Dead Space, you might just be like, really? Dead Space? I mean, 1, I can understand, but 2, 3, really? Those were games that were absolute blasts for me, and I love coming back to. I love the challenge, even though the hardcore modes can be brutally unfair. And yet, for some reason, I still don't like Dark Souls. Funny how that works. Either way, can't promise that I'm going to be doing these daily again. But certainly when the fancy strikes me the way this idea did, I'm definitely going to bring them up. Try to do them more consistently, and who knows. I think I committed to trying doing one every day for a year, so that's 365, and I believe this one would only be number 26, so got a lot of miles to make up. We'll see how that goes. But hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you do, and of course, if you got any ideas or something you'd like to add into the comments below in terms of how you feel about this kind of idea, or if you found the same thing, or if you are so far to one side you'd never even dream of parting with your games. I'd be interested in hearing that. In any case, hope you guys enjoyed this one, and until next time, I'm Rye. You guys take care of yourselves.